America's national parks are a real treasure, and Bryce Canyon National Park is one of the real gems. So we put it near the top of our list when we started thinking about national parks to visit. But we always travel with our dog, and because the National Park Service has strict rules about what you can and can't do with your dog, we wondered if we should go to Bryce. Well, the good news is there's lots you can do at Bryce Canyon National Park with your dog. In fact, you can see most of what there is to see. Take a look. First, for sure, check out the Visitor Center. They put it near the entrance for a reason. There's lots to learn there, and you can see what there is to do at Bryce and get a lot of background information. Take the 17-mile rim drive to Rainbow Point. This is a 35-mile round trip that is just marvelous. There are several turnouts. Take a look. As you can see from this map, the park is a long, slender strip. It hugs the west rim of the canyon. Here's the drive I'm talking about, starting at the Visitor Center, and it goes all the way along the length of this canyon road. There are turnouts all along the way, all the way out to Rainbow Point. Don't skip any. They all offer awesome views, different views of this marvelous canyon. Of course, you can take your dog along this whole drive. Every turnout is paved, and your dog is welcome as long as it's on a leash. You can walk the trail between Sunrise Point and Sunset Point. This trail is in the vicinity of the lodge. Walk all the way along here. Dogs on a leash are welcome. There are several special vista points that you can view. These are all within easy driving distance of the lodge, and your dog is welcome as long as it's on a leash. And finally, there are extensive hiking trails for the real hikers. No dogs are permitted. These are trails along the rim and in the canyons. If you're like us when it comes to planning, you'll be wondering what services are available at the park. Well, good news. Of course, there's lodging. There's lodging in the park, and there's lodging near the entrance at Ruby's Inn. There are places to eat in the park and at Ruby's Inn, and we were told that Ruby's Inn is the place to go. And good news if you're on a road trip, there's a gas station there where you can get both gas and diesel fuel. Many people traveling with dogs elect to go camping, either RV camping or tent camping, and good news, there are several campgrounds in and around Bryce Canyon National Park. And you probably know, but just in case you haven't found it, here's the internet site to go online and find out information about the government-run campsites. You can also make reservations through this internet site. Notice that there are two campsites in the park itself. There's the North Campground and the Sunset Campground. Just outside the park, there's a campground at Ruby's Inn. This is both for RV and tent camping. There's another camping park at Red Canyon, also run by the government. This is on Utah 12, and you'll pass it going from 89 to the park itself. It's something like 13 miles away. A bit further, but still useful to know, there's a campsite at Cedar Breaks National Monument, Point Supreme. This campsite is reached from Highway 143 or Highway 14. And finally, on this map, there's the Cedar Canyon Campground along Highway 14, not too far from Interstate 15. So there are quite a few camping options within a reasonable driving distance of Bryce. And talking about places that are within a reasonable driving distance of Bryce, if you've driven a long ways to get to Bryce Canyon National Park, these destinations I've shown on the map all seem like they're really pretty close together. Take a look. Here's Bryce Canyon National Park, Cedar Breaks National Monument, Zion National Park. North is Capitol Reef National Park. South, you get to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Glen Canyon Dam and Lake Powell. You can go on out to Monument Valley. Driving north gets you to Canyonlands National Park, and then a little bit further is Arches National Park, really very close to Interstate 70. This is a cluster of sites that are just fantastic. And finally, let me just make a couple of comments about getting to Bryce. Here's the park. Most people driving to the park will drive along Utah 12 and past the Red Canyon Campground and the Visitor Center. This is in the Dixie National Forest, and the Red Canyon Visitor Center will give you a lot of information about this area. This drive along 12 till you get to 60 to go south of Bryce is a marvelous drive. There are turnouts to see the fantastic red rock walls. There's a couple of tunnels. It's really a great warm-up for seeing Bryce Canyon National Park. While lots of people will be using Utah 14 to get from Interstate 15 over to 89, you might want to consider driving from Parowan to Penguich using Utah 143. This is a real mountain road. It takes you over a 10,000-foot pass. It's got great scenery, and you go right past Cedar Breaks National Monument. So it's a real easy detour if Highway 148 is open to go ahead and see the National Monument at the same time. We took this drive and we really liked it. And just one more thing, if you're coming from the west, you might be going through Reno. People may advise you to take Interstate 80 because it's more heavily traveled. US 50 used to be called the loneliest highway in America, and people were actually afraid to go across it. It's a desolate, scenic, but desolate area. But there's plenty of traffic on it. It's a great highway. We took this route. It saves miles and time, and it's really scenic. I highly recommend it. And at the same time, this route takes you right past Great Basin National Park. And the Lehman Caves are at Great Basin National Park. The Park Service gives tours of these caves. Truly marvelous. You better make reservations ahead of time because it's really popular. But we recommend stopping and seeing the Lehman Caves as you go by. Well, there you have it. Some thoughts and suggestions for your visit to Bryce Canyon National Park. It's an awesome park, and we highly recommend it for you and your dog. Enjoy!